Welcome to Master Powercast. Eye of the Storm, a mini comic, the good, the bad, and the makeover. So basically what we're going to do, going to give you a quick run through of the book, and then we're going to determine, are there some good things about this at all? What are the bad things? And then we're going to take all of that, make it over, give you a brand new story. Obviously, with this being in the category of the good, the bad, and the makeover, you can kind of tell that neither one of us think that this is a very good mini comic at all. But first and foremost, we're gonna breeze on through it, hit the story beats without really giving our opinions on it, and then we're gonna start breaking it down. Eye of the Storm, of course. If you went and watched our character spotlight on Snout Spout, you probably saw some snippets of it, and that's gonna be one of the issues that I have with it. But we will get to that. Tyler, is there anything you want to make mention of before we start chopping it up?
Let's start slicing and dicing, man.
All right. Yeah, it would be like G.I. Joe. Just call it slice and dice.
Yeah, slice. Yeah. There's a reference there. We got to incorporate it from here on out.
So we're here to do the damn thing. But so we got our cover here. Eye of the Storm. We have Skeletor blasting some beams. He-Man, of course, absorbing them. We have Snout Spout kind of looking very intimidated off to the side.
Yeah.
We go in the book, web store, send a pit of darkness, a deep a black well reaches far into the core of Eternia. It's not a natural chasm, rather. It has been fashioned by the hands of man.
Web store chasm or chasm?
Did I think I said chasm.
Yeah, it's chasm.
Yeah, well, whatever. Tomato. Web store comes out at the top, Skeletor berating him. It's about time because he's pissed because he was taking too long. So the whole thing about this, months of preparation, a few hours, the Stormbringer will sweep across Eternia. Castle Grayskull will be leveled. So that's the plan that they have going on. This dark power wells up inside the shaft and spills out into the sky. That sounds a little naughty, but then soon spreads out in the gulf.
Just say that like Vince. Inside the shaft and it spills out into the sky.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it spreads out and engulfs the plains of Eternia, so all is going according to plan. At this point, we go over and see what He-Man and the gang are up to, and him and Extendar are playing a lively game of Glow Disc. There we go. Seems like here with Extendar, I would not want to play this game against Extendar. It seems like
it's definitely even with He-Man, it's a bit of a ringer there. No pun intended.
A big advantage that Extendar has over this. But Snout Spout being a little pouty, and we mentioned this when we did the character spotlight on him, and we saw these panels where he's just saying, I don't feel like part of the team. I don't feel like I am of any use. Even though He-Man is my friend, I just don't feel like one of his warriors. So he's sitting on the rock.
And I like the illustration right there of him on the rock there. Like it's a nice silhouette, or at least of him in shadow, and just using the concept design. I think Ted Mayer designed him, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And just he looks so imposing and very formidable. But when you're seeing this character that looks like a mechanical badass, you're like, what? Okay.
No.
All right.
So he's being kind of moopy. We cut back to Skeletor, and he's got this pretty cool field of vision viewer deal that he's got.
Yeah.
And he's saying, the heroes of Eternia are at play. Well, they won't feel much like games. My Stormbringer will take care of them all. So the violent storm gathers force, and this one Snout Spout, because he's walked away from everyone, and he spots it. It's like, what could be that foul smell? The storm of evil, he's got to warn the others, so a little too late here as everyone else starts to notice. Extendar saying that's no ordinary storm. He-Man, can you feel the heat? You're right. We're dealing with the forces. We're not dealing with the forces of nature here. Must be Skeletor's work, because obviously anything nefarious going on that doesn't seem natural, we got
to be the Lord of Destruction up to his shenanigans.
Yep. So He-Man's fighting off the storm's energy that's beaming down. At this point, Skeletor says, "Oh man, that heroic fool is short-circuiting my storm." Come on, we're going in the storm. They ride on a cloud.
I'm just thinking of Super Mario World when I.
Yeah, very much so. He-Man can't hold this for much longer, but what's this? It's Snout Spout looking like Mr. Incredible in a small car coming down in the Wind Raider, and he's gonna use his hose nose to spray the evil flames of the storm. He extinguishes it. At this point, the storm is starting to expend more lightning on top of Webstor and Skeletor. We get a schmoz that's going on here. You've stopped my storm, He-Man, but you cannot foil the firepower of my henchman. Tells Webstor to start firing away. So I go through that, and then Webstor, Snout Spout comes to the rescue once again, sprays down Webstor, and then they're like, we're gonna bail. Let's get out of here just in time. Snout Spout brings his Wind Raider in low and grabs the Dashly Webstor off his feet, throws him at Skeletor. Skeletor catches him as they scurry off. Everyone's like, hooray, Snout Spout. You're the man. You're a true heroic warrior. This was part of my job. And then Tilo saying, now you know how important and valued you really are to us. Oh, I guess so. I'm really part of the team. The end. So that was a very quick summary of it. I'm going to go back here
to the quickest one we've ever done.
Well, with that, I wanted to go through it because the meat and potatoes here is now we can really start discussing. Like, we'll start with the good stuff. Number one on my list, I love the fact that Webstor, Snout Spout, Extendar are in it. It's nice seeing those characters in a book, period. We mention it a lot that sometimes you would get these mini comics that didn't have much of a focus on some of these characters that were released. And there's some in the vintage line that didn't really get much of anything in the mini comics. So seeing them here in this story, despite its troubles, I like seeing them in there. So that was one of the check marks for me. The second thing that I have on here, if we go to the credits, I dig the art for the most part here from Jim Mitchell. I think it's not too bad. I actually, in some of the shots, I kind of like the way that Skeletor's face is drawn. I dug it for what it was. So that was another positive for me. And then finally, there's only 3 things on my list. Lotus seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I've seen there was a game. I thought there was a game on PlayStation that had a similar concept. I thought. I can't remember. Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly.
Nothing ringing a bell to me.
Yeah, but I just feel like that game seemed like there was something.
Tell me more about it. Did you actually play it? Or?
Yeah, I remember playing it. Yeah, where it was like you're aiming and trying to throw discs. And it's something, it was almost like I don't know if it was a basket. God, I can't remember what it was. But this was like the early days of PlayStation, I think, or maybe it was PlayStation 2.
Was it a first-person view or was it a third-person view?
I think it was a third-person view. Yeah,
third-person disc game. Let's see what we got here.
I might be making all this shit up, but
I mean, you might be because none of that. It comes. Okay. I can't think of anything.
Maybe I'm. It's like an amalgam of things I seem to remember or something like that.
I mean, I'll do some more digging on it off air to see if I can find anything that resembles that. But that was the only 3 things I really had on my good list. Is there anything positive that you could say about this?
I mean, I generally love Snout Spout's design. I like the use of the kind of the concept / prototype look that they were going for with him. I mean, I love it. Like the orange red, like body armor. His eyes are orange red, and it's just with the pipe connecting to his head to his tank. And him carrying his axe, like he looks very just badass. Like I love his depiction. It's just, and that right there, like that could be used in the right way. Like that image could be used beautifully, but instead we're just having to be a sad sack. And when you see, again, as I will continue to champion, when you see the characters who look as alpha and apex as these guys do, like, unless they've lost a loved one or something like that, there should be no reason why they're walking around thinking like, oh, I don't fit in here. I'm a wiener. It's like no.
All right. Well, his design, you like his design. Is there
Love the
anything else?
design, and
Any
it
other
is cool seeing
positives?
this far into the wave or the line and web stores being used again.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was used in the Rock People to the Rescue along with Cobra Khan, but to see him as like the accomplice for Skeletor in this, um, I don't like Jim Mitchell's artwork, never have, but the way he draws web stores not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that face shot right there, like that's probably one of the best looking panel in the book, in my opinion. Next to like how a Snout Spout is drawn, like Webster looks really good right there.
Yeah.
And the glow disc game is an interesting concept. Like it's like it kind of, like I said, it kind of jogged a bit of a memory to me, and I wish I could remember what the hell I was thinking about. But, and I guess like seeing Skeletor and Webster ride a cloud makes me think of Mario.
All right. Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's a great thing, but it's like, hey, it's Super Mario, and
yeah.
But the complaints definitely, like, oh, that image right there, Webster holding on to Skeletor's arm for dear life is like, what the fuck, man? Like,
yeah, that was also on my list. Riding the cloud. This just really, really stupid. But just the whole concept of the Stormbringer, I think, is just sort of dumb. Period to me.
it is. And just saying like the storm's gonna wipe out or take out everybody, it's gonna level Castle Grayskull, and
well, I mean, the biggest thing that you would think Skeletor. I mean, I guess he wouldn't be thinking that far into
if anything, like to make that concept work, and maybe this is kind of jumping the gun, just in terms of like what you do different, but the storm should be the distraction. Like,
yeah,
the storm should cause people to be like, this is what they're focused on. Like, the storm is bringing all this chaos and eternity, and while they're occupied with that, we go attack Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, I wholeheartly agree.
Instead of just like, nobody's going to sit here and watch and fuck with their games. And when the games are over, we'll attack Castle Grayskull. It's like, no. Like,
yeah. I mean, just the idea here, too, like, Skeletor's had enough battles with He-Man at this point. It's like, well, why wouldn't his sword of power be able to absorb the lightning strikes in and of itself and hold his own? Like, come on, dude. Yeah, I feel like you would know him too well by this point to say, yeah, that sword is we have to do something with the sword.
Which that's fine, but you know what? The sword should be used to, like, the storm is causing. Should we wait?
Well, I'll add one of the last things that I'm going to put in the bad category, and that's just Snout Spout being a bitch. Like, this is totally unwarranted and unnecessary. You don't need it in there. Like, the fact that it's written here that he doesn't feel important, so he goes and walks away from what's going on here to go sulk. But then as the storm shows up, he notices it, but by that time, the storm's already there to everyone else, so it makes no sense of if he would have been there to alert them, because it's not, I've got to warn the others, and there's no panel here saying he got back and warned them. It's just like, oh, nope. Shit's already going down. So what was the point of that?
It's like he apparently just leaves and go gets the Wind Raider because he can put out a cloud.
Yeah,
it's like,
but
what?
He could still do this stuff without being like, I don't feel part of the team. So I don't understand why we have to make him sulk in the first half of this when he could still do this shit the same way and that not even be there too. So
or the simple fact that, why does he need to be written is like he's watching He-Man extend or play a game. It has nothing to do with anything else other than people are just watching a friendly a game of competition amongst friends, and he decides to, I'm a vagina.
Well, like, he's gonna sit there and just.
I can't do it. Who said you can't do that?
Tila.
Yeah. You're not playing at the moment. Like you were simping out beyond belief at this point. Like, you're just, again, someone at Mattel back then must have looked at Extendar and Snout Spout and just felt like, these guys look like rejects. Let's write them as such.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? What is what they can do and how they look, and you feel like let's write them as, like, goth kids. Life is pain. All these conformists all around me, and it's just like, I would have taken the pencil away from the writer. Like, okay, are you being told to do this, or you feel this? You take it upon yourself to do this? Because I'm like,
Right.
I need to know where the root of this problem is. Like, the whole point of this wave is that you guys made so much money with the 85 wave. You're going to invest into brand new tooling for all these characters. So you should be emphasizing these are grandiose ideas we're putting out there for kids to buy, to capture the imagination of young boys who love the previous ways. Look what these guys can do. Look, all the extra things that we put into these characters. Nah, we'll just make them sad sacks of shit. And it's just, and then seeing Snout Spout drawn in a wind red that looks like a carnival ride.
Yeah.
It was like one of those little airplanes you get in that lifts up and down, like just meant for a child to sit in.
And I think we mentioned this when we did the character spotlight. That would have been an awesome idea for them to implement.
Oh my God, yeah.
A quarter riding machine that was the
Had
Wind
like
Raider.
a wind raider or a carnival ride that had, He-Man vehicles that would go up and down, or stay level, that would go in a circle. Like you're in the Land Shark, you're in the Battle Ram, you're in the Bashosaurus, or
you're in the Roton,
the Roton, or
yeah.
the Wind Raider, or the Fright Fighter.
Yeah.
A ride that has like a Wind Raider or Fright Fighter like chasing in a big circle.
Yeah.
You can either pick the Fright Fighter or the Wind Raider and just up and down kind of thing. But that's how he's drawn there, and that's one of the things I don't like about Jim's art. Well, he draws He-Man okay. He-Man's fine. Teela's okay, but his Skeletor is reminiscent of his Hordak, where he just looks, and just looks, not that menacing at all. And right there, the image of Snout Spout, like, I mean, the scale is so bad.
Yeah.
In comparison, it looks as if like Snout Spout is a dwarf riding a pint-size Wind Raider.
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to cram in there, but you could have scaled that back a lot better. You could even have him depicted at a distance to emphasize the power of his trunk can hit, emit like intense jet sprays for like long stretches.
Yeah.
I mean, not a mile, but enough where it's like, look, he has great range with the power and abilities that he's got.
Skeletor
but you
here.
Didn't do that, did you?
Skeletor is like, it smells like onions, and he's starting to retreat.
Oh my God, I got to get away. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, scale and everything aside, I still stand by it being in my good category. That for a good chunk of it, I enjoyed the art. Yeah, it's got issues, but I nudge it for myself in the good category.
And that's cool. I got no problem with that.
Is there any other negatives that you got to say before we
just
go ahead?
The idea that this storm is emitted from this unknown chasm that Skeletor's been planning on, and it just comes off as just an inconvenience. And that Snout Spout just swoops by and sprays water on it, and the storm's gone. Like, why wasn't fire used? Why weren't there the storm like causing great forest fires? And He-Man's trying to stop trees from falling on people. And Snout Spout's running through there and putting out fires, and Extendar's stretching up to keep a tree from falling over, and they're all working together, and just like this constant chaos is happening because the storm is just erupting all over the place.
And at the same time, it's like you mentioned earlier, should have been used more as a distraction. They're too concerned with this. Skeletor can be working on something else. But let's go ahead now. We'll take Eye of the Storm. We will set it in the barber chair, give it a new fresh cut. So what were you kind of tinkering around with? Because before we started recording, you're like, actually, I kind of wrote some stuff. So
I did. Yeah. I'd come up with a title like a few months ago, because I had like an idea. Like, I think when we talked about Snout Spout last time, I was like, it really kind of got my creative juices flowing of like what the cover would look like for something like that really needs to emphasize like what the style guide suggests is that he was a creation of the Horde and was used to bring chaos and work for them, and take out He-Man and help capture Grayskull essentially. And so the cover I'd come up with was like, okay, if he's created by the Horde, what would cause him to switch? Like the creation of Horde science. I'm thinking like, he's a firefighter, so I think the title would be called Redemption by Fire.
Ooh, all right. Yeah.
And the cover would be him surrounded by fire and taking his axe and slashing upwards into a horde trooper with Dylamug holding an attractive woman captive, like watching.
you and it's like it's got to be a
It's got to
lady
be a hot
apparel
girl,
on
man. I tell you, I'm all inspired by the Conan books, like the
Uh,
Conan magazines and comics. Conan's always saving some hot babe, and I'm like, it's always a good reason to have Kevin Sharp draw beautiful women.
Snout
But
spout,
I
a snout spout
gave
should be
purpose to
saving
this
ladies
woman,
too.
though. What's that?
I said snout spout he's got to be saving the ladies too.
He's got to be saving the ladies, but it's I gave a little bit more purpose.
Okay.
To that lady, but like I said, just this evening, I had ideas and I was just going to throw them out there, but I actually started writing.
Is this going to, as well, in the story that you have, are we taking any elements from this book at all? Or is it, on your mind, is it like you just got to scrap this entirely and just have a clean slate?
I just felt like because this, it's like that, they didn't have an idea of where they wanted to go with the character. They started saying he's going to be a creation by the Horde, but there's no suggestion or depiction or even mention of that. And I thought that's something you really ought to play up, is that this character comes from the Horde and is sent to go and bring chaos on Eternia.
Yeah.
He's in the He-Man toy line. If it was She-Ra, it'd be on Etheria.
Yeah. Well, before you jump into having the original story, I think first and foremost, if you were going to just strictly remake Eye of the Storm as a whole, go off the basis of, yes, have the storm, but make that more of a distraction. As you said, have it creating chaos. Snouts, all the heroic warriors are busy trying to save people. Snout Spout's trying to put out the fire. Like other characters that you would want to have in addition to that, aside from Tila and Extendor, you can.
I would keep it small because that's what make it and I would keep it, Eye of the Storm is like the storm itself is causing the problems, and the problems that are causing it are it's setting villages on fire. It's setting the forest on fire. Like we the He-Man, Extendor, and Tila are panicking about trying to get everyone to safety and stopping disasters. Like how do you put out the fire? That's when bring in Snout Spout. Like his and I certainly wouldn't write him as like, I can't play glow disc.
And while that is happening though, and being the distraction, what would Skeletor and Webstor be trying to do?
The distraction is there. That's when they would assault Castle Grayskull, and there's no one there to protect it. The sorceress is reaching out to He-Man, like, look, I can only do so much. Skeletor and Webstor's like trying to scale the castle. Skeletor's trying to lower the drawbridge, or combat the sorceress, while Webster's trying to find a way to sneak in. So she's communicating with He-Man like, look, you need to get your ass here, because she's unaware that Webster, she's just like, look, Skeletor's trying to attack. Well, He-Man's like, look, I can't be in two places at once. And that's when you have Snout Spout step up. It's like, He-Man, like, I got this. And just showcase like his strengths and what he can do, and his drive to like, I have purpose. I've got to put out these fires. I've got to, save all these people from trees falling and things like that, and establish like a friendship between him and Extendor. Like Teal and He-Man go, and because you've got, Snout Spout had the capacity to start putting out all these massive fires that are out of control in the nearby forest, in the village, or whatever you want to have. Allows He-Man and Tila to stop Skeletor, because if it wasn't for Snout Spout, they would be confined to trying to put out the fires.
Yeah, that would be a good way to do it. It's a good way to split it. Here's the distraction, put over Snout Spout while He-Man's still able to go,
because they're not, Skeletor's not planning on Snout Spout being there.
Yeah,
like you have him like arrive, trying to like, I've heard so much about these glow disc games. I just thought it'd be fun to kind of check it out and see what it's like for myself. Maybe I'll get to play someday.
Yeah.
And that's why Skeletor's not planning on that. He's just creating the storm. He knows He-Man's out there. Send it out that way. Bring chaos. Bring distraction. They'll be busy with that for hours. Like, we can go attack Castle Grayskull right now.
There we go.
And then you're back and forth. You've got Snout Spout, you know, saving children and animals and, you know, beautiful babes, you know,
Yeah, you gotta have you got
carrying a hot girl out of the forest fire and bringing her to safety, you know, to her father or something like that. And, you know, Extendar's reaching up and helping animals that are scared to get out of the trees, have no place to go or something like that. And
that would be a really good use of his power
absolutely,
and
fuck
his
yeah.
abilities. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of that's a good way if we're gonna keep it Eye of the Storm and switch some stuff up. That would be a good way to approach it. So there is the makeover in that regard. But if we wanted to make it over entirely, this is where Tyler obviously got those creative juices flowing. So let's hear your original story, which Snout Spout on the cover,
Snout
fighting
Spout's on the
fires,
cover
saving babes.
and taking out horde troopers, and we have a vindictive Dilemug watching on.
And I like the idea too that, like you mentioned, the fact that it's brought up that yes, he's a creation of horde science, but they never really do anything with that. So it's time to kind of focus more on that aspect of the character. So go ahead,
and
man.
I don't know if the UK stuff ever touched on. I'm sure Busta can.
Yeah, maybe him and I will cover it at some point, maybe. But yeah, he'll let me know for sure.
Yeah. So if it is, I do apologize, but I have not read those. You all know why.
We'll get Tyler in on one of those.
Yeah, I gave my word I would sit on one as long as I was given like, okay, look, this isn't dog shit. It's good quality. You don't feel like you're gonna gouge your eyes out from reading this shit. So
yeah.
But the story would be called Redemption by Fire, and the first page would be a splash page of Snout Spout, who has not been called Snout Spout up to this point. He's just a horde warrior in horde armor. I've not quite figured out, but he's got the mechanized elephant head and some sort of kind of horde like black armor with the horde emblem on his chest and his battle axe or his fire axe. And he's sitting on this rock amongst this burned down village. Smokes all over the place. He's sitting there like the axe is at his feet on the ground. He's hanging his head. And in the image, like smoke emits from a destroyed village. Scraps of houses remain charred and ruined. Sitting on a rock embedded in the center of the village sits a traitor to the horde. A broken man, a man who lost everything and fought for those about to meet the same fate. A man who never forgets what was dearest to him, what was taken away for purpose of horde science, his dignity, his purpose, and most of all, his mate. A shell of a man sits awaiting his fate in the hands of justice, but wants to explain first why he's done what he's done. Snout Spout sits in his horde armor, head hanging in shame, his axe resting at his feet. I know who you are. The purpose of my creation was to destroy you in the name of the horde. Horde science has taken away everything from me except my emotional intelligence and strength. Before I'm apprehended, I want you to know what happened. And you cut back to Etheria, and you see panels of the horde, armies of the horde running all over Etheria, rampaging through lesser known outskirts. Many kingdoms and villages fall to the fist of Hordak. You see many beings captured and destroyed. Hordak's latest scheme is hatched by his lead scientist, Galen Nightcroft, better known as Modulok. The armies of the Horde are dispatched, apprehending specific species for the purposes of creating new warriors to further expand their power. Races are slaughtered with only a handful spared for procreation if the experiments prove successful. A race of element men are the next on the list. Modula believes their size and strength amplified with his science would massively be beneficial to the Horde. Dilemug, his latest creation, a robot powered by HI, Horde Intelligence.
Okay.
Has been tasked with apprehending specimens of the elephant race. Being a robot of pure evil and malice, he decides to wipe out the entire race and spare only two. A loving couple named Koshe and his wife Yagasha, which I named that after the elephant from Tower of the Elephant from Conan.
Okay. Yeah.
They stand together amidst a ravaged village. Their neighbors lie fallen among their feet. His arms wrapped around his wife as she tries to hold back her tears. Koshei says they will go willingly, just don't hurt his wife. Dalamug steps forward smiling. You have my word in the name of the Horde. We want you alive. And unharmed, of course, as he places his mechanical hand on Snoutspout's shoulder. Or Koshei. The Horde escort the last of this race across the vast lands heading to the Fright Zone. The frightened couple embrace together while chained inside a Destructo tank. The tank arrives back at the Fright Zone and unloads their cargo. Modulok awaits with Multibot at his side. Dalamug and the Horde troopers escort the couple out to Modulok's lab, and Modulok speaks. Why have you only brought me two? You were to bring me multiple specimens. Dalamug's face rotates to a saddened emotion. I wanted to play up the fact that the toy, if it got a toy, would emphasize like his face would spin to show the different emotions.
Okay.
Dalamug's face rotates to a saddened emotion. I'm sorry, Modulok. And then his face rotates again to a devious smile. They refuse to cooperate and laughs.
See, with these original stories, it got me thinking. It's like, yeah, Tyler, these would work really well in like a Ladybird book type of format.
You think so?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Because the way that those are laid out, when you look at them, it's like, you have some illustrations, but obviously you got like
a lot of dialogue.
A lot of the text, yeah. So it's like, all right. And I mean, you can picture that like the cover of a Ladybird book, and it's still fashioned in the same way that you think of like a mini comic cover.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, man. That would be like a fun, like customizable kind of project. It's just have that cover, have some other illustrations of stuff that as you're going through the story, obviously it's things you really want to highlight, and then just have the written word how you have it there. That'd be a fun idea. All right, go ahead. Continue.
I'd like to make that happen.
But yeah, I think it would. Yeah, it'd be awesome. I mean, obviously, it's like you would have to take these written words and I would probably have someone whose profession it is to properly make sure that it's edited the right way and everything. But yeah, like
as long as the story's intact, certain pieces of dialogue, and someone doesn't come in and decide to fuck around with it.
New Ladybird books, man. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll bring my my words to the UK and
yeah, I mean, you never know.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
If James would approve of that, it's like, yeah, he's got my endorsement here. People trust him.
Yeah, you could each one. It's Ford, written by James Ito.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead, continue.
Frustrated, Modulok tells Multibot to escort the couple to his lab. Dalamug follows behind the couple, still laughing as he sees Yagasha looking around intensely frightened. Don't worry, my dear. Soon you won't even know what fear is like any longer. Modulok begins immediate preparations as the couple stand in his lab, uncertain of what's to come. Multibot prepares the transstation pod. Modulok says he'll test the female first, and Koshei lunges at Modulok immediately and is stunned by Dalamug's shock strain. Struggling to get up, Dalamug laughs, grabbing him, throwing him against the wall, and speaks. If she doesn't survive, you'll have a chance to join her.
Shit.
Multibot places her in the pod and seals it, her face pressed against the glass seal, staring at Koshei, eyes pouring with tears. Dalamug picks up Koshei to face his scared wife. Don't look away. You may never see her alive again.
Wow. Man, he's such a prick in this story, man.
I based that on just how he's depicted in Duel at Devlin. He's such a prick and an asshole, and I really wanted to emphasize that. The laughs, his malice, the fact that he's a robot but enjoys bringing harm to people.
Yeah.
Modulok tells Dalamug to shut it as he begins the process. Lights flash, lightning illuminating amidst the lab. Yagasha screams in pain, her fist beating against the pod. Koshei looks on, weakened and trying to hold back his tears. Dalamug holds him, smiling. The process is over and Modulok shuts the system off. The pod opens up, smoke bursts forth. After it clears, Yagasha lies at the bottom of the pod, tears still streaking down her lifeless face. Modulok shakes his head in disappointment. That's why I wanted more than two, you cynical bucket of bolts. Koshei drops to his knees, ever feeling weaker. And Modulok speaks. Let's test the mail now. Broken, Koschei is dragged into the pod, oblivious to all around him. The pod is sealed, his head hung in the apex of loss, and the process begins. The pod opens and emerges a new warrior of the Horde, his body mechanized with enhancements to his body and specifically to his trunk. Eyes glowing yellow. Excellent, he survived. Take him into the armory immediately. We'll have him tested on the next attack on Eternia. A large fishing village on the coast of Rakash. Prince Adam on a mission to assure the village that heroes of Eternia will have one of their members assigned to watch over them. With the ever-growing threat of Skeletor, the Snake Man, and the Horde, it's important to keep watch on those with less protection. Adam tells the mayor he will return with one of the heroic warriors assigned to watch the village. On the other side of the village, the Horde emerged from a Gatemaker portal. Dialamug with an army of Horde troopers and the latest warriors set their sights. Laughing, Dialamug commands the group with one demand: lay waste to everyone and everything. The village is attacked. The Horde troopers start blasting and destroying everything. Dialamug charges in, eager to rampage. The new warrior accompanies, but somehow there's thoughts emerging. He begins wielding an axe and chopping down statues and slashing at the homes. Adam, just a few miles out on the Bataram, stops and hears blasts and endless screams. Without hesitation, the power sword is unsheathed. The village catches fire. Massive blazes spreading. Men, women, children running scared. Some falling victim in the chaos. The warrior stops. The warrior stops and hears the sounds of something familiar. A husband attempts to fight a Horde trooper to protect his wife. The trooper beats down the man in front of his wife, screaming as Dialamug holds her captive. The warrior's mechanized face emits something Horde science couldn't predict: consciousness. The sounds of a woman screaming send tears down the cold metallic elephant's face. Dialamug turns and yells and tells him to get over here and finish them. He-Man enters the village and starts dismantling troopers left and right. And that's as far as I got.
Oh, okay.
In terms of the writing.
Yeah, because I text you, I'm like, hey, man, I'm home, gonna shower, we'll get the show. And he's like, I gotta eat. Oh, shit, all right.
Yeah, I was just like going and going and going. I'm like, I still haven't eaten dinner yet. So I stopped there.
I mean, you can the groundwork that you've laid there. It's pretty easy to kind of look further down the road and see kind of how the rest of this story is going to play out. Obviously, He-Man dispatching these Horde troopers. Would you want to have any bit where it's like He-Man and Snout Spout are going to kind of go at it at all, or is it kind of with Snout Spout obviously already showing the emotion of with the woman's scream kind of hearkening back to the experiments? Are you kind of at that point wanting to kind of have him a little more off to the side and sort of more about He-Man and Dialamug in that moment? Or
no, it's going to be more about, He-Man is going to be distracted by taking the Horde troopers. Like he does not get to that fight just yet, because all he'll see is this new Horde warrior. But once Snout Spout snaps out of it and rushes over, that's when he attacks the Horde trooper and turns on Dialamug.
Okay.
And then they're clashing.
All right.
So, and then amongst the fight, like Snout Spout will he's slashing and just like, it's just a back and forth, setting up Dialamug, because the idea is like if this mini comic could come with Dialamug too, if we had gotten him as a toy.
Yeah, I think that's the way that you put him over in that story, very strong, showing his attitude and his ruthlessness. Also putting in the gimmick of his showing the different expressions.
Yeah, the face, like just much like Manny's faces, but the emotions are depicting. And I always thought since I was a child, like his smile was creepy. And I want to emphasize that he enjoys what he does. And when he has a sad face, it's just to mock the fact that, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it all. And knowing full well he killed him on purpose.
Yeah.
So,
I'm thinking about it now because you're talking like, yeah, we could package it with Dialamug too. I'm just sitting there and thinking about it. It's like, the way that it's written, like, damn, this kid's gonna learn some new words.
Well, I mean, I know some people might even say like, this is like, look, I don't want to like get crazy with like blood and guts and stuff like that, because that's not what it is about. But I'm writing it as of like, okay, this has not been done. I want to write it now for like fans of like adult fans.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if it was going to be written in the 80s, this would have to be toned down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you're led to believe that his wife is dead when she's really not. But in this idea is like, no, I want this character to experience loss, and he fights for a cause. Like, he will not give up because, you know, he couldn't save his wife, but maybe I can save others.
Yeah, and it plays into the firefighter type.
Yeah, like when he sees chaos and people screaming, like the horde signs, like, you know, play up the fact that Elephant doesn't forget.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, and I, after watching, you know, Prime, I was like, I'm on the right track with this. Like, I already had it in my mind. I'm like, I don't want him to see his wife follow the horde science like she's a failed experiment and it kills her.
Mm-hmm.
And even the horde science like brainwashes him to follow commands, it's not strong enough to destroy what an elephant will never forget.
Yeah.
You know, that his wife was taken from the sounds, the images, it brings it back, you know, blazing. And that's when it just snaps out of it and just like, I know what I got to do.
Yeah. And you could even just, when you think about it in a future reference point, that's also when he inevitably joins He-Man and the Heroic Warriors. You can have it to where Man-at-Arms is trying to work on him to where there's no way that he could like snap back into what the Horde have done to him, kind of thing too. So,
and
yeah,
bring his, but the very beginning of the story is like, once the chaos is over, like He-Man is taking out the Horde troopers, and Dialemug has been defeated, but then He-Man sees this hordeman all of a sudden is putting out fires, and he's not questioned because he just realized, I got to save the people. We got to stop the fire. And then once the chaos is over, that's when Snout Spout just walks over and just sits down and just realizes, like, I came here in evil. I destroyed stuff. I didn't kill anybody or I didn't hurt anybody, but I came here and destroyed. And even though I have stopped, I feel like I've redeemed myself. I'm prepared to offer myself. So you're not knowing who he's talking to until the story, you know, is starting to wrap up. That first panel where he's sitting there, he's talking to He-Man. You know, like I know who you are, but I want to let you know, like, look, this was out of my control, but I wanted to redeem myself, essentially, and just tells him the whole story of, like, he was captured, forced against his will, lost his wife, and that's why I'm, much like that right there. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a lot, sitting right there, speaking, and then you don't realize he's speaking to He-Man until the very end of the story when he's wrapping the story up. And He-Man's listening. Okay, well, clearly, you know, I saw you put out fires. I saw you turning and saving people. I saw you take out Dialemug. Clearly, Horde Science has turned you into something you weren't asking for, but you weren't going to let that, you know, keep you an emissary of evil. Yeah. You know, and then
you could even say, like, join me and we'll find a way to fix it, or
we'll fix it. And, you know, almost like kind of tying it back in is like he would become the protector of that village.
Yeah.
You know, that was just something, it wasn't like a necessity, but someone to kind of keep, you know, Snout Spout, you know, keep tabs on this particular region in that particular village, you know, alert us if something's going on. We got so many warriors, like, we don't need them all just hanging out at the royal palace. Let's dispatch them to various parts of the kingdom.
And I like that. We talk about this all the time. That would be a good way to implement doing just one-shot character stories.
Absolutely.
And having their own little adventures.
Where you're not relying on He-Man to show up and they tag team and save the day. It's like Clamp Champ's going to have his moment to save, you know, a couple of children. You know, Fisto's going to, you know, stop this monster that Beastman is sent to, you know, destroy something. You know, it's you got adventures all over the place. It should not be confined to, like, strictly going after Castle Grayskull again and again and again and again.
I totally agree, especially in this, much like you said, having a story like this, and we've talked about this before and had the conversations plenty of times when people leave comments, and we mentioned the stuff about adults are the ones primarily buying the toys these days. So I think if you could take something like that. I mean, imagine just the concept, right? If we're doing a new toy line, or if it's something that's very similar to a commemorative line, or even Origins figures. Like, I think back to when 2000 X figures were coming out, and they were putting VHS tapes with them. Why couldn't you, instead of a mini comic, it's only 6 pages, do something that's more akin to a Ladybird book, just like a short story novella kind of deal? Like, and then take your stories and implement it like that, to where it's something that would appeal more to the adult collector.
And that's kind of how I write it. I don't want to write it like I'm talking down, because I feel like you can still give an edge to these characters in the mythology, but you ain't got to have blood and guts and people die.
Yeah.
You know, you have a significant death that means something, not just killing people for the sake of killing people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why I feel like, you can have someone lose someone significant, but not in a, her head wasn't fucking cut off or some shit like that. Like she dies in a tragic science experiment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen the stuff that they're doing, where I think kind of bringing it back here to what their current strategy is, where I believe that the Masterverse line is done for, and they've now switched it over to like Master Universe Chronicles. I'm like, yeah, if you have a name like that, implement it and do something like that, where we're kind of celebrating more of these other characters and giving them their own adventures, instead of just boxing it into, it's got to be about Skeletor and the castle, and he needs to get in there all the time. Say, no, let's focus more. Why does this character rule? Why are they badass? Show why. And it's just, you could.
They're not interested in doing that. It's unfortunate. That's why it bugs the shit out of me when people are like, "Oh, I can't wait for this new that." Like, you're not getting anything that's doing a service to these characters, who are good or evil. You're not getting a compelling story that's like, there's so much to be done with these characters, and like, we don't care. It's a pack-in. They're dumb. They're gonna buy it anyway because they just want to buy new shit. Exactly, new shit.
Yeah, more plastic. But yeah, man, I like the idea of just taking these stories and making Ladybird books out of them. So, I mean, something to think about.
I need, all I got to do is pay someone to draw it, and someone to make it more professional looking, with my, I'm not a professional writer or anything.
And that would be kind of the beauty of it too, is like art wise, you could be more selective. It wouldn't be like doing a mini comic where it's like, oh, we have to lay this out like a comic. No, you can just take specific images, art pieces, and it's like, put it here on this, and then have the text all around it. I think that would be good. And the story you told there is fantastic. I mean, I don't think at this point there's going to be a story. I mean, it could happen at some point.
I'm not going to sit there and say everything I've ever come up with, whether I shared it or not, is $1 million idea.
Yeah, but I mean, when I don't know. Leave a comment down below and let us know not only what you think of that and what you think of just Eye of the Storm in general in its original iteration. The second pass that we did through with that, of just changing and switching some of it around to make it a little bit better, a lot better actually.
No, I think a lot better. Like the idea of the storm being one massive chaotic distraction. Like that's a story that could be told very easily.
But just in your mind, would that be something that you guys, as collectors out there, because we have quite a few listeners that bought Origins, and some of them bought some of the Masterverse and everything. Is that an idea that would you like to see something like that? Stories that are told in the fashion Tyler just did, but put more in the style of a Ladybird book. There's got to be a market for that.
I was going to say, you people can't be enjoying the mini comics you're getting, whether you like Origins or not. You cannot be telling me you're enjoying what you're getting with every figure.
Yeah.
6 pages of pure shit, ugly artwork and stories written by morons.
Yeah.
Who clearly don't give a fuck about the mythology, whether you like the story or not. It's we're packing mini comics in. Just shut the fuck up and buy the toy.
Yeah. But no, as always, not to blow smoke, because I'm sure some people are like, why are you just always, I'm
Believe me,
like, no, because
I want to emphasize to our listeners: if there's anybody who's going to be blunt about the truth, it's going to be my best friend Nathan. Like,
yeah, yeah.
if he thinks something sucks, believe me, he's never been bashful since I've known him. They're like, or no, that's not good.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to sit there and just because it's just me and him sitting there talking.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. That's not his personality. Like
the only thing I'll say is just that's why I went. Let's do the Ladybird book route, because I think the way that you story tell with that works better in that format than it does in a mini comic. Because with a mini comic,
yeah, I mean,
you lose a lot of.
If I had taken more time, you know, in structure, I could have laid it out. Because
but dude, that's something that you threw together in like what, an hour and a half?
Yeah,
or
about
so?
an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, like look at that. But that just shows too. Even though you did that in 90 minutes, the effort that you put into it and the way that you wrote it shows how much you care about what you want.
Yeah, I care about every character. I don't. Again, there's no weak links. You know, I don't care how poorly they were written in Filmation or Star Comics or whatever the media would be. Like every character has the potential to be just as badass as He-Man and Skeletor. Mm-hmm. All of them,
mm-hmm.
Male, female, small, tall. Like doesn't matter. Like I could make them all. You know, all likable. Everybody could, you know, I don't really like that character. I will find a way to get you to like that character. Yeah. Believe me, I'm not gonna. I would never write anybody.
But because I think too that we may have even mentioned it when we did the character spotlight on Soundspout a few weeks back. Is the perception that he and Extendar got. People look at those and like, that's goofy. That's stupid. I don't like that. It doesn't make sense. It's like, well, here's a reason to care. Listen, Tyler's little short story that he did in 90 minutes. There you go. Boom, done. Puts him over. You got Dial-a-Mug in there, which I've always been a fan of.
Yeah, we'll have to do like a breakdown of Duel at Devlin. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would love
because that's his. He's in I think 1 or 2 other episodes, but they're shit. Yeah. That's his one episode where he is just a prick.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to carry that. I really want to emphasize like it's a robot with malice, like that's what he's programmed to do and knows what he's doing and enjoys mock. And I really want to emphasize like this guy's mocking this creation from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. So when Snoutspout turns, it's like this big clash in the fire with this creature that helped kill his wife. And laughed about it, mocked him.
Yeah, I could see in that scene too when they have their clash that it's the pure rage from Snoutspout. That it's almost when he's swinging his axe that there's not any finesse to it. It's just pure
rage. It's like you know, Conan or Wolverine's berserker mode. Like he's just cutting loose, and because it's a robot. You can get away with like him like chopping legs off, planting it in the base there, pulling it out, and like wires and oil are emitting and spurting out, you know. And Dial-a-Mug still like throwing insults as he's like struggling and just cuts him in half. You know, I mean that's what I was going for. Is
so you would in that story you'd have Snoutspout just completely.
Oh yeah, just
make Dial-a-Mug scraps to where Modulok's gonna have to just.
He's got to rebuild him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got okay.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Now because it's even before that kill blow. Essentially, he's still just talking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just egging him on like you're not gonna win. You're not gonna beat me. Like we created.
Yeah, you could even throw in some sort of dialogue. I mean, granted,
let's hear it, man.
Well, even because he's a robot, so he kind of, it's sort of like apples, but he could just say it just to say it because that's who the character is. It's you just toss that on the line. It's like, I'll make sure to tell your wife hello or something. You know, just really
absolutely. You know, really just as like, you know, even you have a moment in that fight where it looks like Snoutspout may actually like not make it, and that comment is what, I mean, that's like he just sees his wife, the last image of her crying, And when he mocks him for that, tell your wife I said hello. You know, he picks that axe up. I mean, and it's just, you know,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it puts water in short circuits, you know, part of the exposed wires and gears that are already pulling out. And he's just, you know, spluttering and stammering and, you know, and just whack, 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 uppercut. And it just takes it and still like, it's just like dropped to like one leg that's barely holding his body up, you know, and still like the face flips, you know, to like a different emotion, either
you still have him laughing or something.
Still
too.
having laughing, mocking him in that moment, and just and He-Man is seeing this from a distance. That's why when Snoutspout collapses, he thinks he's going to be taken captive, and He-Man's watched all this. So when he sees him cleave Dial-a-Mug down the center, and is just exhausted and burnout, and just sits on the stump waiting to be taken captive, thinking like,
I would even have something in there too that Modulok shows up to collect the scraps, but there's still that little bit of Dial-a-Mug there that's still able to say something to him. So it's not like, oh, he's dead.
No,
dead,
like
but...
the HI.
Yeah,
it's still there and illuminating and you know, alerting Modulok like, you know, you got to make me bigger and better because I want his head.
Yeah,
something along those lines, like you set up a rivalry between those two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, had Dial-a-Mug made it into the actual toy line, and whether using the concept illustration that Ted Mayer had done, or the one that we got in Filmation, which I'm always thinking Filmation, but the one that Ted Mayer had done. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I'll
make sure.
It up, I just want to send it to you if I could find it real quick.
Yeah, I'll make sure to. As we're talking about this, I'll edit it in and make sure it's on here for a period of time, so you at home can see exactly what Tyler is talking about.
I found it, but it's kind of blurry. It's not as, but I'll send it to you anyway.
Yeah, we'll see if I track down something a little bit better there. Yeah, dude.
But it's a menacing looking concept. There you go.
I mean, I've probably seen it.
You probably have.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could go that route with it as well over Filmation, but that Filmation design's so good.
Yeah, with that George DeCenzo like robotic voice is just like, God, he's just so. Yeah. I
mean, just the idea too that we can have the violence on this because it's a robot. So
it's robots,
you can get away with that.
That's why, like, seeing the image of seeing Dial-a-Mug slashing into a Horde Trooper on the front cover of being split. Like, I just feel like that's like.
You mean Snoutspout going into it?
Who did I say?
You said Dial-a-Mug. I'm like, why is Dial-a-Mug beating out the Horde Troopers?
No, Dial-a-Mug is in the background holding the wife of that couple captive, and that Snoutspout is just like, I mean, I'm going to see like an uppercut sling slash into the Horde Trooper. You know, that's what I want to see on the front cover.
So how soon is when's Kevin gonna start drawing?
I believe me, when he was working on the Thundercat crossover cover, I was like writing it down, like the idea, and then when it was time to do something new, I was like, you know what? I had that Whiplash idea back before the Thundercat one, and I was like, okay, I'll do the Thundercat one first. I'll put the Whiplash cover on the back burner.
Yeah.
So by the time it rolls around, I'm like, you know what? I want to see the Whiplash one done first.
Okay.
So now it's like I've got a unused Ray Harryhausen concept for mini comic cover. I've got a Blade and Sword mini comic cover to make up for the shitty Cosmic Key one, and then I've got the Snoutspout one too, plus the Faker one. You know, I got a whole list of characters who didn't get their moment to shine. Yeah, you know, so. Damn. I got a fuck ton, and I'm like, and that's
future topics, man. Future shows.
Yeah, future topics for things we just, like I said, Blade and Sora were not given a good introduction at all in the mini comics. Like
we're gonna have to, since I made mentions, these stories working better. We need to come up with a name that implements like your stories and Lady Bird and like mash it up and
Lady
I think
T-Bird.
Lady T-Bird. No, we'll come back to the
No,
drawing board on that one.
I'm just throwing out stupid shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's like, oh, I
It's
guess
like I'm just using that combined with like the American like cars, you know.
yeah.
So
Well, anytime now, honestly, T-Bird, the first thing that comes to my mind anymore is the crow over the car.
do what now?
T-Bird makes me think of the crow and the character.
Oh, yes, yeah,
over the make and model of a car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, shit, man, that was wonderful. Now the gears are turning. It's like I should probably just start like making these more of a possibility somehow.
It's just a matter of the money.
Yeah, the money.
It's having the money to pay to pay an artist to put it on paper and put it up for people to enjoy. That's
we're just
all
gonna
it boils down to.
We're gonna have to get rich. That's what's gonna
happen. Or we need a financial backer. We need someone who's like, you know, we need like 10 things that we need someone who's rich and really stupid. You know? Yeah. So we can't find a Joey Donner who's drawing dicks on a lunchroom tray to give us money to.
No, he's drawing boobs on the lunchroom tray.
Oh, boobs, yeah.
Hey, he's drawing
dicks on faces and boobs
dicks
on
faces.
Trays.
Yeah. Are you lost? that's what would happen. I'll walk over to someone. I'm like, yeah, that'll be the guy, and then I walk up and I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, you lost?
And you lost. And he just grabs your face.
Yeah, I have a great idea for you.
It's like you want a big return on your investment. See, this guy over here, apparently he's a solid investment. It's like, what do you get of it? Well, hey, I say hello to you. You say hello to me. You're cool by association. All right, Nasty Nate. I'll think about it. And I'm like, do I have a dick on my face? We're done here. Yeah, but yeah, dude, that's the dream, man.
Yeah,
that's the dream. Maybe if we attend like a convention sometime in the near future, where someone would be like, you know what, you guys got some good ideas. I'm A.G. Pennypacker, and here's a check. I want
a blank check.
Yeah, a blank
and
check.
I'm like, just
fill it in. He's like Brelin, Hood Holzborn. It's blank. Just fill it in. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, we won't be around when this check clears.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's the goal. Let's just go find someone that's got a lot of money and bank this and make this thing.
It's just wishful thinking, man. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope the listeners enjoy it. I had fun writing it. So
yeah, definitely leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of that story and just the whole idea in general. We'll see if we can try to, or if you got a lot of money and you want to pack this idea.
Yeah, if you'd like to donate some money, like all you're doing is paying the artist. You're not giving it to me.
Yeah, you're not giving it to me.
You think I'm an asshole, but you like what I have to say. You know, you're not paying me.
It's for the love of the game.
Yeah.
For the love of the game. But
it's all for the love of the game, like Kevin Costner.
Yeah. But we will go ahead. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll get into some feedback because we got a lot of stuff to cover there on our previous episode. So we'll do that, run some commercials. We'll be back right after this.
A battle fought in the stars now comes to Earth.
Police! Nobody move! I think I'm gonna need some backup.
A battle for the power.
Kneel before your master!
To be masters of the universe. Dolph Lundgren is He-Man. Frank Langella is Skeletor.
Let this be our final battle!
Masters of the universe. Rated PG.
Now playing at a theater near you.
Find out what everyone's talking about. Watch Batman, the animated series, weekday afternoons on Fox.
It's an alien.
No kidding. Where?
It's living in America.
I like what they've done with the place.
It loves cats.
Can't get enough of them.
It's Alf, and now it's everywhere.
He's debonair, and yet fuzzy. My parents just don't understand our relationship. I mean, this whole cat thing's been blown all out of proportion. Alf.
Alf, alien life form new from Coleco.
And we're back. Tyler, I did some research during our commercial break, and you were talking about a little bit more. We found the game that he was talking about. He was way off.
Yeah, yeah.
A
But
couple
it was a real thing.
a couple of generations off. When we were talking, he was talking about, it's a PS1 disc game. He was talking about Tron Evolution on PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
That someone had gifted him.
Yeah,
When
and it turns out my brother gave it to me for Christmas that year. I
Yeah.
remember that now. Yeah.
And there is some of the aspects of that game I remember being kind of cool. I only watched a couple other people play it and watching you play it, but that game seemed really intriguing. It got me thinking about Tron Legacy and how much I enjoyed that for what it was.
Yeah,
lot,
I mean, it's a beautiful. I mean, the story. I kept saying, okay, I'm just going to roll with it because there's a lot of stuff that's left out, and I'm just going to assume maybe it's just there. And point is, the soundtrack by Daft Punk was fucking amazing, and the visuals in that movie were just mind blowing to see that in the theater.
Yeah, that's something I might need to revisit a little bit down the road. Maybe eventually too. Even though I know it's going to be bad, I'll pop on
Sean Aries.
Yeah, I might watch that.
Jared Leto, the People Skeletor.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's jump into some feedback, dude. First and foremost, all of this, in fact, I think everything from Premiere Chat to the comments we received, this is all in Character Spotlight. Clawful. We'll start off here. Gary Buchanan, NPC baby. Let's rock. Clawful is a beast. So appreciate
you. Damn right he is.
Yeah, appreciate you, Gary, for always leaving a comment.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, appreciate the support. Nemeth, I'm probably butchering that, but it's Nemistthe. So I'm just gonna say Nemeth with like a little bit of a lisp to it. We give a little of the Dusty Roads to kind of
Dusty Road, baby. Nemeth, baby. NPC, baby.
Says Origin knee joints killed it for me, and shamefully missed some of the unmade figures that were produced because of that. Yeah, there's just I get if people enjoy it, but there's just so many issues that I and Tyler more so have with those figures that we've told you time and time again. So we're not gonna bore you to death.
Not gonna beat that dead horse, but you all have heard it.
Yeah. Tom piped in and said, "Sent you a picture of the new Mattel 2000X cartoon figure of Clawful, which I forgot to edit in on the episode. So I did miss that one. So I'll put the image up here for anyone interested, if you want to take a look at what that figure looks like from the line." Brian Clifton, and this has sort of been a central focus in our conversations after our main topic as of late. Space is the true enemy of a collector. I currently just collect select DC McFarlane figures and the Jada Street Fighter ones. I've been focusing more on collected edition comics, mostly omnibus editions. So, yeah, Tyler actually cleared out some space today, moving around some G.I. Joe stuff, and he likes the way it looks. As you see there, he's pretty much got the room completed. So, as I said on the episode that we recorded yesterday, that's actually going to come out after this one, I do intend on going to Tyler's place, filming a collection tour videos just specifically to that room. Maybe we'll branch out to the rest of his collection later on down the road. But I want to focus on his Master Universe collection now. Now he's got all three of the towers in there, and
with Hero and Tom's gift of Eldor right over here in front of the Central Tower. Yeah, it's a much more simplified setup.
Yeah,
but it's just so much more.
I know. And like I said, one day too, maybe we'll just film a video of all the shit you got packed away.
No, I'm not doing that.
Come on.
I would much rather us record us doing something else. I'm not digging through everything I've packed up because I just no.
Hey, look at this. Oh, that sucks. So you can see why I haven't.
Yeah, no. I mean, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 totes right over here just alone of things I boxed up because I just don't have room for.
Well, I meant specifically Master Universe stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a few things that are He-Man related. Like as of right now, I can't do it. I'm the shelves are packed out. This looks nice and neat. I don't want to add anything else to it. Mm-hmm. It's just the towers and vehicles, and box stuff along the bottom here.
Yeah.
I'm like, my only concern going forth is more artwork from Kevin, and that's.
Master Universe tour room coming up soon, hopefully, on the Master Powercast channel. The next bit of feedback came from the premiere chat, pretty much all from Johnny Cock. That sounds weird to me, going to a place of business only to order off of a catalog. This was in regards to what we were talking about. Specifically, you think of places like JCPenney and Sears. Where
Montgomery Ward, I think, too, was also, I think, one of those. Not all of them, but I think the one that was here in Radford, I think when we were like too little to remember, I think was over there in Radford, and Mom said you would just walk in and you just would order from the catalog.
Yeah, because you had to, because the space would be so small. I remember there being another Sears locally, but it was just a small shop. It had a few things in there, but everything else, it was, if you want this here, you order it from the catalog. They'll ship it to the store, and you got to come pick it up.
Over here. In Radford, across from Kroger, there was a Sears over there too. When you'd walk in, it was just some washers and dryers, and I think a couple of refrigerators. And then what the hell would you want to go in here with the Sears at the malls? Got clothes and TVs and stuff like that. And I think that's how that was too. It was like an old catalog setup, I think.
Yep. So it's weird to think about now and very antiquated, but that's what you had to do sometimes back then. Next, this comes from Nimitz. Baby, I actually renamed the Filmation version from the Classics collection. I have the Pensor and had him align with the Horde. He was different enough to qualify as a new figure for them. So yeah, that's cool that you get that, which I did get one. I think I mentioned this before. I just haven't taken it out and put it on display yet. There you go.
Yeah.
So I need to take this out, throw it on the shelf. But that's cool though that people do that. Especially with
people have that own idea of their own personal fandom. Like I say, go for it, man. Like enjoy it, expand, create your own universe, because God knows you're not getting it at the powers that be.
Yeah. Once again, leave a comment down below, and do you have any more examples of figures that you have taken in your collection that you've just renamed entirely, especially when there's such a difference like that between the clawful that you get in the vintage line and then like with the classics rather too, is getting that Filmation version and it being so different. Yeah, just give it a different.
Like Tongue Lasher is the member of the Horde, and Tongue Lasher is the actual figure. Like they're complete 180s.
Yep. The rest of these come from Johnny. Do you think stupid villains were for comedic value, make bad guys less scary for the kids, a lazy trope, or simply to make it easy to understand why the bad guys always lose?
I'd say probably both. They're afraid to make villains like actual villains, which is why the ones that were depicted as true villains were the most memorable of the 80s. Skeletor at first, Mum-Ra, Monstar, the Shredder, Hordak, Overlord from Black Star, Dr. Scarab. Like, they may have a moment where they can be, cynical and funny, but their personality doesn't change. But then the ones where everyone's slipping on banana peels and doing, I almost feel like they're trying to, tone it down because they think children or the kids at home watching are just eating cake and smothering all over the face and doing this. So we don't want to fucking frighten them. so let's just make all the villains fucking morons.
But that's the thing when you think about a lot of those movies that came out when we were younger that really took the chance and went that far to make it scary, not overly scary, but enough to where it left a mark and left an impression.
You felt uncomfortable, like you weren't crawling underneath the seat, but you felt uneasy,
and it makes you remember it.
Yes,
it's like, why would you not want to go that route? That years down the road, that's still going to stick out to them. It's like,
then people really wonder, why is the live action 1990 Turtles film still heavily celebrated? Why is the Dark Crystal still heavily celebrated? And various other films that were depicted, that were meant for children, but whether they bombed or not is irrelevant. They still left lasting impressions because they pushed the evil content. It's like we're the Return to Oz was another fucked up.
Dude, that movie's fucked.
But in a wonderful way though, because this is some scary shit. Much like the original Wizard of Oz, scared the fuck out of me as a kid, and I love it, and having nothing but fond memories of being scared to death by Margaret Hamilton's Wicked Witch.
The Wheelers in Return
The
to
Wheelers
Oz.
and the Queen, played by Queen Beth Morda and Willow, with the multiple heads. Jean Marsh, when she plays the main head of the lady who has like the multiple. She has like the head gallery. And when Dorothy walks into the head gallery and comes across her and she comes alive, it says, Dorothy Gale. Dorothy Gale. You know, it's like, holy shit, man. Like, yeah, it's...
I'm gonna add that to the list of rewatches I need to do because it's on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of due for it, but dude,
And I love the cat, like TikTok and the Gump. I think is like the couch with the moose head attached to it, and then Jack, you know, the pumpkin head character. Like I love that whole assortment of like new allies or new friends for Dorothy to befriend when she's trying to go and save, you know, the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Lion and Oz, for that matter.
If you've never watched it before and you got kids, show it to your kids. It'll traumatize them a little bit.
Come here, chicken. Yeah, show them both of them for that matter.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. I remember thinking the flying monkeys were creepy. They didn't scare me, but like it was always that, like, oh my god, when the monkeys show up, we're gonna see like the scary shit inside the witch's castle. And
you know, I haven't watched Wizard of Oz in a long time either.
I watched it over the holidays.
Yeah, that's usually one that you watch around Christmas time.
I watched it. I actually watched it twice. It was on TV around New Year's, and I watched like it was like in the middle of the movie, so I watched it from there to the end, and then watched it from the beginning. I think after Thanksgiving. I think
one of the few musicals Tyler can tolerate,
and I don't consider it a musical, even though it has a lot of songs in it, because I almost look at it as almost like a Disney movie, because Disney movies have got songs in it.
Yeah,
you know, but they're not musicals. Musicals, just like every fucking conversation you're having, it's like 10 seconds of like actual dialogue, and it's like, you know, they take the top hat off and sling it over and start shucking and jiving and It's like, no one does this. Shut up.
More comments here from Johnny. This is the Clawful Masterverse figure. Looks like a build your character in a video game, and you had to unlock the accessories you get to use, and you don't have a cohesive set of gear to play with. Yeah,
that's a wonderful description of that shitty figure.
Yeah. They just like fucking threw every iteration of Clawful. Like, let's just put all of it on them.
Nothing but tree stumps working at Mattel. You know, and who the fuck's hiring these people?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, Transformers handled it best among the 80s properties. They weren't outwardly dumb, just grown so they were infighting. This kind of ties back more into the stupid villains thing.
Well, yeah, because and I'm not saying they gotta all have a genius mentality, but they should not just be, you know, sitting there just drooling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what's his name and who played that slow character that was a part of CM Punk's faction.
Oh, Luke Gallows?
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be Festus, biscuits and gravy.
Yeah. Like they don't need to be depicted as a bunch of Festuses in your faction.
Right.
You know.
Well, when Luke Gallows was in Punk's faction, he had reformed, so he was normal.
Yeah, he was normal, but I guess I'm thinking like the character he played.
Yeah, Festus. Yeah, Jesse. Yeah, Jesse. Yeah. He would sit there, and then when the bell rang is when he came alive.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vince.
But Vince loved it.
Yeah. I love the theme song. Biscuits and gravy. Johnny going on to say more here as well. When I'm done rearranging my house, I'm going to do rotational displaying and then try to rearrange things based on ideally a quarterly schedule. If something spends over a year in the basement, maybe it doesn't need to be in my collection anymore. And that's a great way to do it. It's much like how Tyler periodically, he doesn't do it as much as he used to, but definitely rotating out your movie posters.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a good way to do it. And maybe that's something more that I need to take into consideration when it comes to the office space. It's just occasionally just taking some of the shelves and rotating stuff out. I'm not saying specifically like the ones that have full shelves here that are dedicated, but like I have my cubed shelves in certain spots, maybe rotating more of that stuff out and doing it that way. We shall see, but that's a smart way to do it. But also, it's a lot of effort.
It's getting into a habit of that, because like once I've set something, man, it's gonna be a long fucking time before I change anything. I'm getting this. I thought this is gonna take a long fucking time.
And you did it in a little over a month.
Well, it helped too, having snow days where you can't go to the gym, you can't go anywhere, so you're at home and you're like, okay, now you have the time.
Yeah,
let's get it knocked out. So
and
that's what I did with all the shitty weather we got. I made the best of that time,
dude. Not for us to spend too much time on this, but sick of the snow. I can't wait for it to warm up and melt all this.
I just want to see the grass again.
Yeah, we haven't seen the grass in like 2 weeks now at this point. And then the wind. I'm tired of the wind gusts being so high and it being so cold that it makes it worse.
Ice on the ground, damn it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad at this point. Well, a lot of it now is refreeze, but there for that first little bit, everything was just a sheet of ice. If you hadn't shoveled it out or chiseled your way through it.
And every place you want to go is covered in like chunks, piles of ice and snow, and parking's limited wherever you go because
I've seen some people that have taken those pieces of ice and actually made igloos out of them just to be.
That's cool.
Because you can't make snowmen out of that shit.
No.
And then finally, this was at the very, very end of the show, Johnny saying, the 1994 Street Fighter is a work of art.
You're fucking right, it is.
And it's great. It's once again the best live-action G.I. Joe movie we've gotten to this point.
Yep, and we will never get another movie of equal value. It's always gonna be lesser because they don't give a shit about doing a quality G.I. Joe movie. Right, Lorenzo de Bonaventura?
So that was
son of a bitch.
That was some of the premiere chat stuff that caught my eye. So anytime that these go up and have their premiere Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, feel free to jump in there, leave stuff in the premiere chat. I'll make sure to screenshot it and highlight it on future episodes. But if you can't make for that, leave a comment down below. Speaking of, we'll go ahead and end it on this final one. This comes from Mo2 Drew. Another great episode. Thanks, fellas. I second the idea that I would love to hear you guys go into more depth of the commemorative series figures. I never purchased any. It was during a time in my life where I wasn't collecting or even thinking about Master Universe, and I know very little about them. I know you both champion the classics line and mention them frequently, and I would like for you guys to do a deep dive on that line too. I'd love to hear your favorite figures from the line, things you might have changed, figures you still want, if any, etc. Like Nathan, I was late getting into the line and have paid some hefty prices for some of them. I feel your pain, brother. I've noticed prices dropping lately, which is fine by me, and I've been picky in the ones I own due to the cost. I'm ashamed to say how much I paid for Fisto and Trapjaw 4 years ago. Especially.
You shouldn't be, though. If you're willing to do it for them, man, that just means you're a solid fan and you appreciate the quality.
I agree. It's truly the best modern Master Universe line, one that likely won't be surpassed anytime soon. I just want to focus in on that because Fisto was one I wanted that classics design. I initially
He's one of the finest ones that were done.
Yeah, I initially just settled for the Filmation version. I'm like, all right, this is fine, and then I just couldn't shake it. I'm like, no, I have to get this, and luckily, one of the listeners was like, hey, yeah, I'm looking to get rid of this, and hit me with the price. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Like, it's still hefty, but compared to what I'm seeing over here on eBay, definitely way more manageable. So yeah, and a lot of those core characters too, like your Trapjaws and your Triclopses, at the time obtaining those was just like, I finally got them. You know, I had them on the shelf because at that point, specifically, I remember when the collection of classics I had was that small, I had them in a DTOL, still separated by shelves like Heroic Warriors, Evil Warriors, the Horde, the Snake Men. But when I got Trapjaw and Triclops, I think I even made like an Instagram post where like standing like shoulder to shoulder.
That's awesome.
I was like, and I just like, admired it for a little bit. And I felt the same way looking at those, like how I felt the times I would come to your place and see them all displayed like that. I was like, yeah, I need to get in this line. So welcome to the club, Motu Drew. And then went on to finish this extensive comment with this. Lastly, I think the change to Master Powercast was needed. I had a lot of love for fans of Power. I do think about the other hosts and hope they are doing well, but not much Master Universe was coming from the episodes. It felt more like a hangout with your friends kind of thing. Happy to have you guys refocused on Master Universe and various other topics. I listen to you guys daily while I'm at work. Much appreciated to you both for this podcast celebrating He-Man. We've talked about this quite a few times, and I just got to reiterate here again that both of us, anytime we see this type of feedback, just really reassures. It's like, yeah, like Tyler and I needed to
breaking away from the bullshit of like not focusing on what we're here for. The podcast is meant to talk about He-Man and She-Ra, and when people are showing up and want to talk about how they spend their day, what they like to eat, and silly shit like that, has nothing to do with He-Man and She-Ra. It's like, look, that's not where we're here. This is free time. Our time is put into showing up and putting together something that people hopefully will enjoy about He-Man and She-Ra. And when other people have agendas, when it's like that's not the focal point and they're not interested, it's more about its attention.
Yeah, and it's I equate it to like a band, and you see a lot of bands that get popular, and then at some point, the band broke up, and the words that are always tossed around at that time that you hear more often than not, creative differences, and that's essentially what this was like. I had the same mentality of Tyler, that I want to put something out there that has a quality to it. I want to put something out there that has a cohesion and a focus to it. Like, yeah, we can stray away from conversation a little bit, but the primary focus needs to be what the show's supposed to be about. And there for a long time, the focus wasn't there. And I've said this plenty of times before. A lot of that does fall on me because being the producer, I should have been the one to kind of maybe like step on toes. But I also didn't want to be that guy either. But at the same time too, you have to worry about hurt feelings and mopiness and all that stuff. And
it was like letting kids loose in daycare with no structure. And, you know, when you finally decide, like, look, enough, you know, then they're going to, oh God, like Arnold in kindergarten, don't start this. And everyone starts crying. You know, it's like, dude,
and that's like an analogy to it. But I made mention episodes back that you could see some differences on the screen when things were brought up of like, hey, let's not do this, or let's cut this out. And want to go circle back around to the thing too of Tyler and I were the ones the vast majority of the time coming out with the topic. So it just kind of naturally,
I mean, 99% of the time it's you and I coming up with everything.
Well, all of that stuff taken into consideration just naturally evolved to where it needed to go from there. It's like, all right, I want to be more focused. Tyler wants to talk Master Universe and be more focused. And it's the schedules. I mean, you got to think too, man, like it's hard enough to do these things or it used to be hard enough to do these things on a weekly basis and feel excited to do it.
You got to show up knowing full well, like, I'm not going to have a good time here. And yet people are expecting me to show up, set them up, and all right, here we go. Yeah. And then all you're doing is like, I wish my ears would start bleeding right now so I could get up and leave, because this is not what I'm devoting my free time to doing each week.
Yeah. So it's one thing to do. It's hard enough to do it week to week. And I think you've seen other examples in the past when you're trying to do this shit week to week and put this stuff out. It's hard enough as is. It gets harder when you start having other things like this that just start to add up, and you're having to start to deal with and work through them, and just like, all right, whatever. So it goes back to saying him and I are happy. This is incredible. We love doing this every week. Like a handful of episodes ahead at this point because we just keep recording. I keep getting a little more free time, and we're taking advantage of that way more than we ever have in the past. But going back to that, it is hard to get that many people together on a weekly basis. And it was too much. It's too loud, no focus.
And not even so many people together, but the fact that people had other ideas of what they wanted to talk about, as opposed to, look, this is what we're going to do. This is, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to show up. That's fine. But if you're going to show up prepared, know what you're going to say. Don't just show up and decide you're going to talk about it like, oh, I'm going to watch it as we're going along, or I'll just read it as we go along, or I'm just here to fuck around. Camera's on me. Like, that's not what a He-Man podcast is supposed to be about here, people. Like,
and for me personally, it just turned into a thing that's like I'm putting something out there that, quite frankly, I would feel sort of embarrassed by. It's like, well,
I was. That's why I laughed. I was like, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by what was people, the way they were acting, and how angry I was getting. And then I felt bad for you. There were times too, like I'm like Nathan almost said, I was like, oh, come on, man, don't. Nathan didn't want me, and with good reason, because I helped anchor the show. Like, we're not here to fucking talk about your personal business. We're here to talk about He-Man and She-Ra. And then if I didn't show up, Nathan has a fucking miserable time.
Yeah.
Because it's almost hey, when Tyler was away, we just get to fuck around, and what's advertised is not what's talked about.
Yeah. I can think of quite a few examples. One really sticks to mind, a character spotlight on Teela, where Teela was barely... Anyway, neither here nor there. The thing is, too, I think from the outside looking into this, with people watching, I would hope that most of you have enjoyed the calmer, easier to digest pace of it. Because I remember, too, getting the stuff. It's like, are you guys going to talk Master Universe? I don't know if it was like joking or to being serious, because you misinterpreted how you read text, especially on the internet, with how it's portrayed. But I think outside looking into it, it's one thing to just see people weekly like up there, but there's way more that goes into it. And for me, it just as I said, creative differences. Like, it just wasn't fulfilling to me anymore. I want to put something out there. We're kind of circling back.
You're proud of it. You want to be proud.
Yeah,
you want to go to bed after recording, realize, you know what, we did a damn good job. I can't wait to the next one.
Yeah, and that's how I felt for these last 10 months. We're encroaching on a year of this, and this many months out to get a comment like that from O2 Drew, it's still nice to see. So you guys keep that coming. If you want to like say that, I mean, even too, if you want to say like how we got weeks ago, it's like, I liked it better this way. It's like, yeah, that's fine if you want to tell us that, but it's not going to change how happy him and I are with how we're doing with
and we're not joking. Like, I cannot stress to our listeners, we're not bullshitting when we say we remind each other on a weekly basis of how happy we are to be doing this, because it just validates the decision was the best thing we'd ever done, and how miserable we were showing up each week with our free time, hoping we could have a good conversation about something that we all say we love. And the majority is just like the mission statement. They have a different one than us. And, when you're not having fun talking about He-Man, that's a serious fucking problem.
Yeah, it's something that, especially in your case, and you've mentioned that pretty much every time this comes up. Like, if Tyler doesn't want to talk Master Universe, he's like sick in bed or something.
And no joke, I couldn't really even stomach watching anything on my own for that stretch when I was like, I'm out. Up until I said, let's do the arena, I found it difficult to want to watch anything He-Man and She-Ra related, period, because I was so pissed off at the sour taste of what the group was just focused on, just showing up, fucking around, and not caring whether it was good. There's just, hey, it's my turn to be funny and goofy and look at me and all this. I'm like, I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I want to celebrate and remind and point out how awesome this is. And it's not about being an internet personality for attention. I could give two fucks about that. People, if that's what they want to do, that's what social media is for. That's what people like to do on YouTube. That's great. Spend your free time sitting in front of your fucking computer being angry or begging for attention, whatever you want to do. That's not why we're showing up week in and week out, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes just once a week, sometimes every other week.
Yeah.
Regardless, we're showing it because we're happy to talk about He-Man and She-Ra and a few things in between.
Mm-hmm.
And to have that insatiable drive of like, oh my God, we have 5 topics lined up. Like, we know what we're going to do. I'm ready to knock this one out. I can't wait. I'm ready to knock this next one. All right, take a break. We'll talk about something else. I can't wait to talk about that. And it never stops. We're always pumped. We're always excited to show up and devote our free time to be doing this stuff and hoping that people, and when they're reminding us that, you know, hey, I'm glad you guys made the change. It's just even more rewarding to know people are taking the time to say, hey, look, I like that you guys are focused on talking about what you're advertising you're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
And it's not just we're sitting there talking about, you know, I went to Kroger today. Who gives a flying fuck? You know, that's not important. It's irrelevant. You know, I don't need to know, you know, me and Nathan may have private conversation about what we do, but we're not bringing it to a podcast devoted to He-Man and She-Ra. That's, you know, get a fucking life.
I'll say this too to kind of cap this last little bit and discussing this again is we are always open to talking about it. We talk about it often, as Tyler pointed out, often enough in the way that, as he mentioned, when we're done with it, it's like, yeah, that was really good. Or there have been times where it's like this topic that we had that we discussed. Could you imagine how this would have went if we just if we would have kept the current format as it was?
It would have been, you know, the original stories could not have been done. You know, it would have been steamrolled, and it would have been an embarrassment. And I was just like, well, that was kind of a waste of time. The breakdowns of the episodes, no focus. You know, there's so much stuff that just, you know, it's frustrating when you really just, you know, want the people who are willing to take time to listen to you, always make sure you got something good and quality to bring out to them, and others could give 2 shits whether you like it or not.
And that was the important thing, and that was the driving force too when we decided to do this is topics first, put something out there that hopefully we feel like you're not wasting your time with it. That was the biggest thing. Like, we want you, the listener, to have a good time, and just even if you're just putting us on in the background, whether you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, or you got the YouTube going on. Hey man, if we're there to be the voice while you're working on something and just kind of keeping your interest and keeping you concentrated on whatever you're doing, that's awesome. We love the fact that you're enjoying it. So getting that from Motu Drew,
it means everything to us.
It does. It really does.
You know, so, we know our you know, our reach is very sparse. We're aware of that. That's why it means a lot when anyone wants to take time to say, hey, I like what you're doing, or I agree with you, or this reminds me of this, like that. We don't take comments for granted. We don't take feedback for granted. It means more to us than you realize. So everybody who takes time to live chat, a comment months down the road or right after, you know, we check it all the time, and we're always excited to respond, to talk about it, and thank everybody, every single soul who's willing to listen to us and leave us feedback. I'd love to shake your hand and thank you personally if I could, because it means a lot. We're not someone, you know, who's takes all their likes and comments and views for granted, you know, like a lot of people do, because, you know, we're doing a niche topic. It's not meant for everybody, but the people who do listen to it really do seem to appreciate it and like the direction. And we're going to keep going. We'll never look back. We have nothing but happy times ahead for us, which certainly means more happier times for you guys. We all win, and we're doing what we're completing the mission statement.
Yep. And as Tyler says at the end of pretty much every episode, much like he's going to do on this one, he always says, thanks for your time. So, I mean, we appreciate the years, appreciate the comments. But Tyler, with that said, we'll go ahead. We'll wrap this episode up. Hope everyone enjoyed us. briskly covering the original iteration of Eye of the Storm, what we would have done differently, and of course Tyler's name pending Ladybird-esque book story. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of that. I mean, if you want to give Tyler shit for being like, dude, that's PS3. Why are you thinking PS1?
Have at it, man. I don't mind people throwing shit balls at me. So
yeah.
I own it. I own my mistakes. So feel free to make fun of, or if you hate the story, think it's garbage. Hey, leave the comments. Like we're not people who are going to shy away from that stuff.
Yeah,
so he is free speech.
Yeah, absolutely. But make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave that comment down below. And if you haven't done so and you're new here to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when the premieres are going on. And until later, let the power return.
Abba Zabba, you're my only friend.
Oh, hell yeah. Half-baked.
Kenny's butthole was in constant jeopardy.
Oh, you could have done that. Doctor says I need a backiotomy. My lawyer slept with my mama.
Why? So I'll smoke one week, but then I gotta go. I understand.
Yeah, I understand. Oh shit.
Yeah, the only movie about pot smoking I genuinely enjoy, and it's not because it's just a funny movie.
Yeah, it is. I remember when a dime bag cost a dime. You know how much condoms cost back in that day?
I don't know. We didn't ever use them. What a fun movie, man.
Yeah. Obviously, of course, there's a couple lines in there we can't say out loud here.
Now without getting in trouble.
Yeah, but shit, man. I need to watch
bastard.
Yeah, I need to watch Half-Baked again, dude.
It's probably been decades since I've watched it, but I watched it enough to where the movie's embedded in my brain.
Yeah, same.
Seeing it in theaters and knowing my dad didn't like, oh my God, what are you boys watching? Like, hey, we're going to movie with guys that smoke pot.
God, if you're listening, help. Then Bob Saget being in there.
oh yeah, you suck a dick for coke. You ever suck a dick for some marijuana? I didn't think so.
Boo this man.
Huh? But when he showed up too, like, what the fuck is Bob Saget? And
yeah,
so weird and random, and he just looked like, oh my God, he's sucking dick for coke. Like the dad from Full House sucks dick for coke. Man.
Well, that's the thing too. I didn't even know, like, even around that time, that his stand-up comedy was...
I just knew him as the wholesome dad from Full House. That's all I ever knew him as.
Yeah.
Then you find out he's this raunchy stand-up comic and wearing sweaters on Full House like he's a white Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Full House sucks, man.
Yeah, that's a show I've never ever cared to go back and revisit.
Yeah, I mean, I was into it at the time when I was watching.
Oh yeah, with TGIF and all that. Like, watching the girls grow up and watching Joey do all his dumbass impressions and Jesse and the Rippers and
Jesse and the Rippers. Do you remember that music video that he did? I think it's around the time that she was pregnant with the twins. So
I probably saw it. I just don't remember it right off.
Yeah, it was like that fucking soft rock shit. And I think he's wearing
that's the kind of music he would sing, was like the soft rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Either that or he's like doing shit with the Beach Boys.
Yeah, and he was in a diner, met Wayne Newton in one episode, I remember.
Mm-hmm. And then what was there's that episode with the dude who was the other half on Perfect Strangers. He showed up, he's like Becky's brother or like brother-in-law or something, and they got those other twins, and like those twins are better than Jesse and Becky's twins in terms of intelligence and stuff. And he had like this.
Oh yeah.
He played like a big doucher on there.
He was the straight guy on Perfect Strangers, right?
Yeah.
Like he was a cousin. I forgot what his name was. Mark Lynn Baker, I think. Some shit like that.
No relation, right?
No, I think, or I don't know. Mark Lynn something. I don't know, but he was Balky's cousin.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
TGIF, hanging with Mr. Cooper.
That and Step by Step.
Step by Step, Boy
Family
Meets
Matters.
World.
I back in the day, man, like watching that whole block, like hanging with Mr. Cooper was when I was starting to get tired. but I would try and watch what I could, and I'd
So-
fall asleep on the floor watching.
So nothing's changed because I think Mr. Cooper came on at like 9 or 9:30.
Yeah, 9:30. Yeah. And I was just,
I was like, I gotta go to bed.
good. I had such a tough time staying up. Enough to see Holly Robinson looking all hot.
Yeah, I would stay up, and then 2020 would come on with Baba Waters. And what was the dude's name on 2020?
Peter Jennings.
No, it wasn't Peter Jennings. It was like the other crusty dude that was there with
The other crusty guy.
that was there with Baba Waters.
What's his name again?
Let's see, where are we at? Hugh Downs. Yeah.
Hugh Downs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Hugh Downs and Baba Waters.
Barbara Walters is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, Baba Waba. Who's that?
Baba Waba, yeah. It's always Hugh Downs and Baba Waters.
And Baba Waters. But yeah, I not to where. Yeah, there were times where I do remember 2020 coming on, but I just remember falling asleep, especially at my granny's house. We'd go over there and stay on Friday nights a lot and watch TGIF. And
I can't remember if it was Friday nights that would happen too, or if that was more of a weekend thing. But I seem to recall Friday nights watch TGIF, then it would stay up. I don't know what I would watch between 10 and 11. Then it would be like local news because my parents at that point have taken over the TV. So you're watching local news, and then sports will come on. You get Friday Football Extra, and you watch that. And then I can't remember if it was right at 11:30. It'd be midnight. They would play American Gladiators, so I would try to stay up to.
No
watch
wonder
that.
I could never watch the show until I saw it on the USA Network and syndication.
Yeah.
If it came on that fucking late, I used to
Yeah.
wonder, why am I never able to see this show?
Yeah.
Until USA was playing reruns.
So I want to say it was Friday nights because that's when I would always at that age try to stay up later because it's the weekend.
I never even saw ads for the show.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing I saw ads for it, but they never said like, on ABC at 10 o'clock on Friday.
It came on CBS.
CBS played it, really?
And it was after.
I figured it'd be an NBC show because it was a Universal based show.
Not when I would see it then. It would come on after the local news on CBS. But I want to say it was 11. It was either 11:30 or midnight. It would come on, and that's usually I would fall asleep. I would try to stay up watching. I'd fall asleep when it would come on.
God, how the hell did the show get so popular then for that stretch if it was playing so fucking late?
I mean, that may have just been like a regional thing with the broadcast.
Maybe just in our market. That's
that was you equate it to like ECW television where the shit was coming on at like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
in certain markets. So that's just one of those underground things.
I remember Family Matters, like Carl and Urkel show up on that. That was my first like taste of the actual show. Because I never got to watch it, but when I saw them on the show, I was like, oh, I'm getting to actually see. And I thought the rolling log part that Urkel falls on and goes, oh, like I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So actually getting to see the show, boy, you could not pull me away from it, man. I was glued to the TV when that show came on.
Other than them being on Gladiators, I don't remember the specifics of that show. But I imagine was Nitro still around at the time?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have Nitro in there.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, but then again, too, I don't not since it first aired that episode, and because I remember watching it, my granny's and she laughed her ass off when Urkel was stuck on that rolling log.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, it's on Prime Video to watch now for free because I think they took it off of like Pluto TV and everything. So yeah,
American Gladiators.
Yeah, go fire up some American Gladiators on Prime Video.
And there's a bunch on YouTube also. You can watch that episode.
Yeah. That's right. I think they might still be doing it because at one time I remember they were just kind of like have the stream going, much like how Hasbro does with G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not live on there, but yeah, I see here full episodes. Yeah. Oh man, love some American Gladiators.
It's so easy to let you get into once you start watching one, you just I gotta watch another. I want to watch another, and just I mean, that rabbit hole.
I know that currently, other than nostalgia, like there's no one really talks about, but I always had the idea that it would be a really fun multiplayer game where you get a lobby where it's, I don't know, let's say 8 to 10 people, right? At random, or I guess you could choose, depending. I guess you could do male and female at this point too. So you could have maybe like 4 contestants, and then everyone else in the lobby gets to be gladiators. And then you just basically you could set it up to where the game itself within there in the multiplayer realm lasts anywhere 45 minutes to an hour, and it's essentially like you're playing the TV show, but you're taking turns. Like if you're a gladiator, it's like, oh, you're going to be in this event. You got to wait your turn, whatever, and just cycle through everyone.
Yeah.
Like that. And then at the end, when you're doing the eliminator, it's like, all right, all the players that are gladiators get to be involved in the eliminator. I think it's a brilliant fucking idea to do it for a multiplayer video game, but whatever. You can make paid deal. Like you can make the gladiators just sort of generic with the release and maybe just do the DLC packs where it's like, oh, if you want the likeness of Nitro and Turbo, then you gotta like pay money because that's what they do. But just make the contestants customizable. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go too crazy with it, but just have the options there and it's male, female stuff. And then, just make it.
That'd be a fucking blast, dude.
Yeah. I think
I know all the original gladiators, like, because they got fucked over on royalties back in the day, like they would obviously need money for it, but I think they would love to be a part of something like that.
Yeah. It's something to bring back the legacy of American Gladiators. I don't know. Someone watching this show, open up your wallets, man. Like, well, let's make these books. Let me be a lead developer of an American Gladiators multiplayer game.
Yeah, we have great ideas. We just we would be nice if we had a benefactor like in Great Expectations. What a shitty story that was, and helping us out, helping us make our dreams come true.
Yeah. Oh man, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here now. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for your time, everybody.
How you doing, cowgirl? Can I buy you an ice cream cone?
Excuse me.
Come on, baby, I'm buying pralines and cream for everybody, girl. Hey, don't get insulted. As long as I got a face, you got a place to sit.